All right. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to bring call to order this Mobile GR Commission meeting on February 1st, 2024 at noon sharp. So welcome. This commission provides input on parking and mobility-related activities and programs to department staff and makes recommendations to the City Commission on policies related to these activities. As members of the public, you have two opportunities where you can provide comments. One's related to the agenda items, which is first public comment period. At the end of the meeting, you can also provide general comments. We are not able to respond to your comments directly, but we are listening and using these comments to inform our decisions. So thank you for taking the time to join us. Roll call. Can we take roll call, please?
Commissioner Lunker is excused. Commissioner Wisling. Here. Commissioner Patton. Here. Commissioner Rozelle is excused. Commissioner Nienhuis. Chairperson Wynn.
Here.
Commissioner Clark.
Here.
Commissioner Robbins is excused. Commissioner Haynes. Here. Vice Chair Mathis.
Here.
Commissioner Kampmeyer. Here. And Commissioner Sesa.
All right. So first order of business is approving the minutes from December 7th. Is in your packet any corrections or comments? If there are none, I would take a motion to approve. All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Motion carried. Next is public comment. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to step forward. All right. Seeing none, I'll close the first public comment. I want to go a little bit off the agenda. We don't have any action items, so you're welcome. But we do have a couple new commissioners. I think it'd be nice if we went around the room and just maybe said what we do, what our day job is, and where we come from. Maybe I'll start. My day job is president of Amway Hotel Corporation, so we do have some parking ramps that we operate. And I've been on the commission for a few years. All right.
If you could turn your mic on, please.
Can you hear me? All right.
Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chad Patton. I work for West Michigan Works. I'm the Director of Development and Innovation there. So, typically my focus in terms of Mobile GR is workforce development. And then I am also a representative of the 3rd Ward as well.
Kevin Wisling, day job is at the Rapid. I'm Director of Procurement and Capital Planning. So obviously the Rapid has a lot of intersection with what we're doing here and a lot of interest in that. I'm additionally a resident of Easttown, so bring that hat as well.
Nice.
Craig Clark, owner of Clark Communications, Public Relations Consulting. I've had up until a few years ago, business in downtown for about 15 years, resident of Rockford, and active in a lot of nonprofit organizations in the inner city.
I am Chris Mathis, born and raised in Grand Rapids. By day, most of my time is spent as a business coach, working with a lot of different businesses around downtown and around the city. I'm also a serial entrepreneur. I own a number of different businesses in the area and some downtown as well.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Lisa Haynes. I'm with Grand Valley State University. My day job is Associate Vice President of Facilities. And as part of that role, I'm responsible for the university's parking and transportation system.
I'm Debbie Nienhuis, and my day job is Director of Operations for Ellis Parking, so parking is my job every day.
Hi, I'm Laura Sessa. My day job is a science writer, so I own my own consulting business, work with a lot of startup companies in the area and around Michigan. I'm a transit user and cyclist, so I'm excited to bring this perspective to the commission, and yeah, excited to be here.
Hey, I'm Ben Kampmeyer. I moved to Grand Rapids about 5 years ago from another city, came originally to do work as a member of the clergy. I've done some unrelated things since, and my day job is, I'm figuring that out right now. I'm in between things. But I feel like the lens I bring to this room over the last couple of years on this commission is live on the west side, wife and kids over there. We want to be connected to our city and see it flourish. And this seemed like a great space to participate and do that. So, thank you.
Great. Welcome, everyone. Next is discussion items, introduction of new mobile GR. I guess I didn't go off script, so that's good. Car share update. Jennifer, is that?
Yes, so Ariana will be
Okay.
presenting this. So this will be a presentation that was provided to the City Commission on last Tuesday. Trying to remember. Yes, last Tuesday. And so this item came before this body back in, I believe it was August, and so now we're at the contract phase, and so unfortunately the presentation is behind us, so you can follow along with your hard copy or on the screen.
So yeah, just a few things we'll cover today, kind of how we got here with car share, who our operator is going to be, mobility development operations, our initial rollout, kind of that user experience, the member onboarding and orientation, some of our operational characteristics, and then some of the data monitoring, our initial pricing structure, some of the branding and marketing we want to bring to it, and future phases. Next, please. So car share has been an idea around in Grand Rapids for a while now. In 2018, regional stakeholders got together and kind of formed the idea. In 2020, it was codified in the, this is always a mouthful, Equitable Economic Development and Mobility Strategic Plan for the city. 22, Mobile GR put out an RFP to find a provider and operator. In 23, we selected Mobility Development Operations as that consultant, and here we are in 24. The contract was approved last Tuesday by City Commission. The EV infrastructure is going to be installed to support the car share, and we'll be launching the car share this spring. So Mobility Development Operations, MDO, we'll go for the shorter name for the rest of the presentation. So they support the launch of growth of community-controlled car share. They've been doing this since about 2009. They work with cities and transit agencies to design and run EV car shares with a focus on low-cost service in historically marginalized communities. They have similar experience in cities of our size. Buffalo and Rochester, New York are notable as Stockton and Bakersfield, California. So the programs are built for long-term success. There is a financial sustainability plan that is developed and kind of honed and polished throughout the 3-year pilot. So this will be a combination of public and grant funding, and at the end of the 3-year pilot, we hope to transition it to a nonprofit model. So our initial rollout will be this spring. We'll have 6 vehicles. We have 4 locations that are in our neighborhood lots, as we call them. So there's one at Madison Square, Burton and Division, West Fulton, and the Easttown Ethel lot. And then we have 2 locations that we have chosen in our downtown parking facilities to support those 2. To be a member of the program, you must be 21 or over, have a debit, credit, or prepaid bank card of some kind, have a valid driver's license. The driving record is reviewed and verified by MDO, and needs to be kind of free of a lot of major infractions. It's a point system based on the severity of the infraction. You get so many points. If you get too many points, you go over. It's a very hands-on onboarding. Either it's a phone call or like a Zoom video call. And really it's an orientation on how to get in the car, kind of what's different about it, and how to operate an EV. It's something that not a lot of people have had that experience yet. And then there's an email that'll follow up with resources. And then we also do have a 24/7 phone center for any particular issues that pop up. So like anything else in our lives, you download an app, then you create your account there. So the app allows you to book a car, so reserve it, so it'll be there when you go. Unlock the car, lock the car when you're done, and also is your payment structure in there. And it allows you to access the 24/7 call center. So we at Grand Rapids will actually have a local program coordinator, Willie Stokes, and that is unique to us compared to some of the other car shares that are being stood up in Michigan by MDO. And so yes, the 24/7 call center is staffed by these lovely people, and so they will do the processing of applications, you know, if people get locked out, towing, if there's stranded members or vehicles, you know, if there's a flat or something to that effect, and just be that emergency after hours line. So if we need to have contact with any other agency, we have a point of contact. So the local program coordinator is unique to Grand Rapids. We wanted that specifically so that we'd have somebody in the area. There is support staff all around Michigan. MDO is also standing up car shares in Kalamazoo, Ann Arbor, and Detroit. So that staff, kind of as the call center, is shared with those, but we do have our own local person here on the ground. The routine cleaning and maintenance will be the responsibility of MDO. If there's a need for immediate cleaning, customers can report that, and then the issue will be addressed. So things that are covered by MDO, repairs, maintenance, fees and fines, insurance. Next slide. So the vehicles are equipped with telematics that give us geolocation. This is all 24/7. Speed, vehicle status, what the battery is, and remote monitoring and access. Like, think of it like OnStar in a car, kind of that, you know, little voice in your roof. The city will have a dashboard where we will have anonymized data to see trip history, so we can see that a user went from Easttown to Burton Heights. We won't know that it was Joe Smith in this, you know, particular time. So it's something that we'll have that anonymized data so that we can really look at where people are going with the car shares. And so when we roll out our next phase to get to the 12 vehicles, we can use that to inform our, where we're going to put our new stations. So we will be using kind of a stationary car model, not a floating car model. So you will check out a vehicle from a station, make your trip, and then come back to that station. We are considering cameras per the administrative policy that the city has. It's not something that has been really done in the other ones that MDO has done, but it was kind of a question expressed to us. Next, please. So our initial pricing structure is going to be $5 per hour. The first 150 miles of any trip is covered, 40 cents a mile thereafter. We have a day rate under discussion of $50 per day, 24-hour max trip length. That includes insurance and before sales tax. So this is fluid. It is up for discussion and up to change, in that if we find, you know, if we look at our usage stats and there's 5 people are using the cars 60% of the time, you know, because they're doing these really long trips, we can amend that. We can get rid of the day trip. We can make it longer. We can reduce the rental. We will work with MDO and their kind of experience to figure out how we want to tweak our pricing structure to get the behaviors that we want, that we feel are going to serve the most amount of people. We are looking at extending the Dash branding. We actually have a nice little list of names from our partners at Gray Matter Group that we're all mulling over, and we'll pick out something tomorrow. We have hired 2 local consultants to engage with the neighborhoods that are, where these are going in, specifically to make sure that we're getting people on board, we're getting the information out there, and it's an opportunity to ask questions and have some opportunity for feedback. Thank you. So MDO will own, maintain, and insure the vehicles. Essentially, the city is paying a service fee. They have lots of insurance requirements. We did run this past risk and legal, and they both signed off on it. So professional liability insurance, the general liability, and automobile liability. And that covers the general liability and the automobile liability cover the vehicle when it's being operated by a user. The responsibilities we have in the city is that we will install and maintain the charging stations, and we'll be coordinating the marketing and advertising with MDO. So after the 6th, our first phase, we're hoping to expand to 12 vehicles, and we'll be installing the supporting EV infrastructure for that. We are going to reapply for a federal infrastructure grant. We did do that this past year, but we're not successful. There'll be a call for projects here shortly, and so we'll be applying again. Questions?
Excuse me. Any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Make it official. Thank you for that. I might have been gone this summer when it was discussed, and I haven't watched the recording. Was that Committee of the Whole where this was presented last week? I haven't seen that, so forgive me if you've already addressed this, but how did we find, I have 2 questions. First, how did we find the locations? How did we determine those are the best spots?
Yeah, we use several criteria. One of them is that we had the ability to control the property, and it was on our terms in that. Also, we looked at transit, so if you look at the Silver Line and the Laker Line, those intersect with that, and we overlaid kind of some of our data we have on car ownership rates are lower in those particular areas than others in the city.
Thank you, that makes sense. And then the obvious, and I hate to ask, but we have to, how are we gonna address theft and just abuse of the
So
vehicles?
MDO has the ability to actually immobilize a vehicle, so if it's reported stolen or if it's something that PD or law enforcement is pursuing, we have that contact with the 24/7-hour call center so that they can immobilize the vehicle. They can lock people out, they can prevent anybody from getting into it. I mean, we are considering using the dash branding, so these will be possibly bright pink cars eventually, so they'll be distinguishable, so. I mean, we have that 24/7 and GPS tracking. So we are able to access that information and give it to any cooperating agency that might need it.
Great, thank you.
So they're putting this in Ann Arbor and Kalamazoo. Will the same app give them access to do a car share in those other cities
Yeah,
too?
actually, if you looked at kind of that map, that's one of the initial kind of screenshots. You can see that there's Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, and the other locations. So you can actually have the same platform to go from city to city.
Good question. When it comes to this application process, what does that look like and how thorough should we expect that to be as far as DUIs in the past or, you know, whatever their history is? Like, what does that process look like?
So there's about a 5-year window that they'll be looking at for infractions. And so if you have too many of those that push you over the limit, you know, if those drop off your record, then you can apply again. It is just basically the Secretary of State check, anything like you would get for insurance. So they use an independent vendor to do that and kind of get the point system. And that point system is determined by their MDO's insurance.
Fantastic program. I do have a question regarding like the app. Will there be a backup way to access the car if for whatever reason your phone isn't working, it dies, something like that?
Yeah, they do have the capability and the technology to actually have an RFID card. So you would have to obviously meet up with the local coordinator, and it's a little bit more clunky, but they don't necessarily need a smartphone to access it. Just the driver's license, the bank card, and B21.
Quick question on this. You know, I've loved this project, love that it's coming to Grand Rapids. I've seen similar projects in the past come and then go. So, you know, seeing here, what's the sustainability of it in terms of budget? And, you know, no need to get into the weeds or anything, but, and then how does the federal infrastructure grant factor into that as well?
Yeah, so we're committed for the $500,000 over the 3 years, and that's our sum total commitment to this. And we have kind of some different scenarios if we have high adoption, lower adoption, and then there are some Department of Energy grants that are being built into this. But in the other cities that MDO has worked in, these have been transitioned to nonprofits. And so that's kind of where we're going to be building our pricing structure and our models so that we can hand this off to somebody. There's a couple groups in the community that are also looking at kind of EV mobility options, so there's some opportunities that we're cultivating. The grant, if we get it, will accelerate how fast we get more of phase 2.
One thing I wanted to add to that, that Ariana had shared during the City Commission presentation, kind of to that point, is that right now the model is that it's $5 per hour with an up to 24-hour max, but obviously we're going to be very flexible here in this pilot phase because we don't want people commandeering the car. Like, we want this to be able to be accessible to many people and not just commandeered by a few. So we will potentially be adjusting that daily max time, but we also want to allow folks, it's not restrictive to just the city. I mean, Ariana shared that if folks have specialty medical appointments in Lansing or in Ann Arbor, we want to be able to give people an opportunity to make those types of appointments. So we don't want to limit it too much for how long they can have the vehicle, but we also, since there will be the tracking as to who's using it, we will be able to see if it's just a select few that are using it the majority of the time.
Remind us what the test period, how long before you reanalyze the data?
So the pilot is scheduled for 3 years.
3 years?
We will be meeting regularly with MDO, and that dashboard we will have available to us that'll be updated at least weekly. We won't have the live data, just in an effort to keep the data anonymized and kind of out of the public realm for some people. So, yeah, the 3 years is what we're on the contract for.
Okay.
I am curious about the charging infrastructure. It sounds like those are ours, not MDO's.
Yeah.
Will they be accessible to the public? And if so, is there some revenue benefit from folks just using it while they're not solely dedicated to the cars? I guess I just would like to understand that.
We'll be putting in dual port chargers, and one of them will be dedicated to the car share, just so that we don't have to potentially try to get somebody out of there. And then the way that we actually handle the EV chargers that are in our facilities now is that because we're not a registered utility with the state of Michigan, we can't sell you electricity. We can sell you premium parking when you use the charging station.
Anything else? Sounds like you've been very thorough.
Great, thank you.
Answered every question. All right, next is updates. Jennifer?
Just a few things that I wanted to call to your attention, and then I'm going to actually have Max come up here in a moment. But first item in the project updates is we're happy to report that this week we were able to fully restore back 7-day-a-week service for the Dash, so that was very exciting for us.
That's
yes, we've been waiting for that for quite a long time. There's also been a lot of conversation, and we're really proud of the work that we did on Turner with the protected bike lane, so there's some information there. And then in response to some comments that were made by this body in December about our notes and kind of the go-forward strategy, we are going to be kind of pivoting in the new calendar year, and I'm going to have Max come up and talk to you all about it.
Thank you. So I'm Max Phillips. I'm Communications and Outreach Analyst for the department. So last month, 2 months ago in December, we tried to align our minutes to more of the city commission approach and a few other public bodies within the city. However, we also want to increase transparency and kind of be consistent with what you're saying when we show these meetings to the public. And I think the best way to do that is, so previously all of our meetings were recorded. They were available by request. And going forward in the year of 2024, we're going to try out just hosting them online. So from now on, we're going to just have them available on YouTube. They won't be posted live. It'll be afterwards. So I'll review the footage to make sure everything was audible and consistent. And then if there is any issues with the videos that you see online, you can reach out to me and I can correct them. But going forward, a few days or so after the meeting, they'll be posted onto the City of Grand Rapids YouTube page and a playlist for the Mobile GR Commission. I think that provides the ultimate level of transparency, and it's pretty much not me summarizing your words, but your words being put out exactly as you say them.
You'll delete any mistakes or swear words?
No, I can get some like AI-generated stuff to get you guys singing or something like that, but no, other than that, it'd just be exactly. But yeah, if you do notice any issues with it, that'll be there. And then, of course, in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, we will be documenting all votes and all major changes and notes in relation to the votes on the meetings, as always.
Good.
Thank you.
Any questions on the project updates? All right. Next is public comment again. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to make any general comment, you're welcome to. Seeing none. The only thing I'd like to say is I'll do my best as the new chair. It is, if someone would like to reach out to Lene, let her know this was only 24 minutes, which is a new record, just saying. So, and in keeping with that, we're adjourned.